So today what I want to do, I have my notes today, and go over some examples of what I was going through and how I feel like this is what I was dealing with. So recently a friend of mine asked me, she was like, how did you even get onto this narcissism? How do you feel like that's what you were going through? And I said, well, I just started putting things into Google. I just started putting what was happening, like this person is doing this and they're not doing that, but why are they doing this? And the word narcissism came up through one of the articles, and then I went on, you know how you be on those rabbit holes, right? I went on a rabbit hole and I found this list, and it is the narcissistic, it's like, that's not the handbook, but it says to be diagnosed with NPD, the person must exhibit these at least 5 of the following traits. And like I said, not therapist, not putting this label, but I'm gonna go through it with y'all. And number 1, has a grandiose sense of self-importance and exaggerates achievements and talents. And so for that one, it was, oh, better yet, this is the thing I was telling you guys last time. I was like, sometimes some things may be petty or seem petty, but they're not. I'm gonna give y'all one example that's gonna knock out about 3 or 4 of these traits. So I have an Android, right? And my whole family, everybody has iPhones. But when you get an Android, you get this thing called a supercharger. It's a super box, and it has a little lightning bolt on it, and it charges your phone. Now, granted, my phone is older, okay? Now they got the cool little put it down, tap your phone to your homie's phone. But I came with a super box and charges your phone faster. And so I keep up with my super box. The relationship that I was in, we both had Androids. And so one of my things was I always kept my charger next to the bed. I would charge my phone overnight and throughout the day. You know, it's 2020, so I've had these chargers and these kind of phones maybe the last 5 years. So it's my phone, it's my alarm, it's my clock, it's my watch, it's my entertainment, it's my turn on the song to keep my child from tripping. I need my phone, right? And one of the things was he would always take my charger. And I was like, leave my charger alone. You got a charger. And the reason, I don't even know, I'll get into the reason, but it was like, leave it alone. So now I know that the word is called boundaries. I set a boundary. This is my charger. I need it here so that my phone doesn't die, so I can contact him, family, whatever. I got 2 small children. Leave my charger where it's at. We use the phone throughout the day, so I'm gonna need to be able to recharge it. For whatever reason, he would not. So the first, what did I say it was called? Character trait. Has a grandiose sense of self, importance, and exaggerates achievements and talents. It was, I wrote it just, it was more important that he be able to reach his clients and that his clients be able to contact him be able to post on social media. His phone and him, essentially, were more important and needed to be charged. He would always lose his chargers, never knew where they were. But he had like 6 of them because he would collect the little iPhone boxes from other people. And like I told y'all, we didn't even have iPhones. But he never knew where his charger was. But his charger, when his phone got low, it was whatever. It didn't matter if my phone was low as well and it was my charger. It was more important that he be able to reach out to his clients. I wasn't working, and this is how he made the money for the house. It was important that he had it. The second one was what was more important to him. The next one, unreasonably expect special or favorable treatment and compliance with his wishes. So he expected access to my charger no matter what. If like I said, my battery was dead or dying. Or if I just said, no, you can't have it. He deserved it. He needed it. He would literally just take it. And my phone, I need to make money is what he would tell me. You know, I need to be able to reach these people. But it was never important enough for him to be proactive or be responsible. If it was that much of a deal, I'd be like, keep your charger here. I would find his charger, put a place, give suggestions. He would always take his charger to work, but never charge his phone there. It was like, well, then leave it here. And so I'm jumping through hoops trying to figure out how can I keep my charger, but him, you know, have his. And it's like, well, why does it matter? It's just a charger. This is why it would matter, because whenever he took my charger, like I said, he would take it, keep taking it. I keep being like, leave it here. He would never just put it back. I'd have to go find it, and then it would either end up broken or lost. He wouldn't know where it was anymore, and it would be wrapped up, and it wouldn't charge my phone anymore. And so that was part of the reason why I was very adamant about, like, don't lose my charger, don't move it. And like I said, the super boxes were like $40. And so I like those better. So I couldn't just go, I could just go and buy another one, but I'm trying to save, be on a budget. I can't just be buying $40 chargers all the doggone time. But I would, once it break, I'd go get another supercharger, go get another cord, do the whole song and dance again. But in the meantime, before I could get to the store, whenever my stuff would be broken or lost, he miraculously find his charger. And now I'm stuck on, should I ask him to use his charger? Well, we don't share chargers. Well, I let you use my charger last time, so you should let me use yours. So I would be in that kind of, let me just go get a new one, right? And so, but like I said, it always ended up lost or broken. And that was the part where it became a bigger deal to me. Like, I said what I said, and you don't respect my things. But it was, and like I said, now the word boundary, write it down. And part of the reason why I not ended up in this, but stayed in something like this so long is because I did not have boundaries in general, or I didn't understand the importance of them, and I definitely had no backbone or way to enforce the boundaries once they were pushed. It's like if you put up a little fence, but you don't shore the foundation, you can just get knocked back down. It's not really keeping you safe. Maybe a few people be like, oh, there's a fence there, I'm not gonna, I understand what a fence is, but like if anybody actually came and tried you, well, here you're defenseless now. Defenseless, huh? Okay, so exploits and takes advantage of others to achieve personal ends. Point 3, like I said, we just take the charger to work and it finally broke down, or if I would break down and let him borrow it at home, he would exploit that, yes, and that meant I can use it all the time, anywhere, anyhow, and then now, like I said, I'm out here looking for my charger. 4, lacks empathy for the feelings and needs of others. And so, like I said, he did not care if my phone was dying, didn't care if I couldn't contact anyone. This didn't just happen recently, this is the whole time. Like at one point I was pregnant and we were having the same debate and same argument. Leave my charger alone. What if my phone dies? What if I go into labor? What if I get hurt and I need to call somebody? I'm pregnant, 1 month or 9 months. Same situation. Take the charger, lose the charger, not replace the charger, not put the charger back. And like I said, it was less important. And it didn't matter until pregnant or not, but it irritated me. I didn't like it. It was something that honestly, I'm not even as hype as I would be typically. Like my whole family would be like, fam. And they were supportive, but it was just, like I said, it seemed so petty. It seemed like, why are you tripping? But this was one of the things that it was used to emotionally abuse me and manipulate me. It was like, this is important. And I don't know, at the time, I didn't know why. But like I said, it's something that I just dealt with and made moves to accommodate for years. It was, I'm gonna just read it off. It didn't matter if I had a full charge or access to recharging it. It irritated me. It made me feel taken advantage of. It made me feel less important. It made me feel crazy. And I would explain this to him and he didn't get it or care because he continued to take my charges. That's like his actions prove that he didn't care. Like I was saying that, it bothers me, or I have no way to contact other people. I have no way to contact you. Like I said, what if something happens to me or to the children? I need my phone to be able to know, like I said, what time it was. And it was just like, well, he has clients, he has work, and that's more important. So his phone should be charged. And I should be okay with 20% or 90%, or hopefully my child, he would take my phone off the charger overnight as well and charge his phone. Okay, I told y'all I knocked out 1, 2, 3, 4 of the narcissistic traits with one example. And so the other ones that I didn't go over in the charger example, I will now. It says the person, like these people dream of unlimited power and success, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. And that's something we dealt with. It was that I was perfect, I was flawless, and to him, that's what he would say. But I would be like, no, if you're putting me up on this pedestal, then I couldn't be real. I couldn't have real emotions and have real issues, and we could not grow and connect. But that is about the look and the facade. If I was weak or if I had problems, then he, as a unit, we didn't look as strong. And so when a person like that, they believe that they deserve the best, so they make up in their mind that you are the absolute best. And like, well, that's a compliment. Yeah, it feels like that at first until real life happens and you really trying to dig into some stuff, And this person's like, no, you're fine. No, it's good. And it's like, you're saying that, but you're treating me like there's a problem. You're treating me like there's issues. And so I'm trying to get to let's figure out why this is happening. And what that does is it now puts me in the disadvantage of you're saying everything's good, but you're acting like everything is wrong. So now I'm internally trying to figure out, okay, what can I do different? How can I do better? What can I change? And so now I'm trying to fix things with no gauge and no communication on the problem. And it creates a self-doubt. It creates this longing to want it to be okay, but literally not having any idea how to fix it and just trying everything versus being like, you got a problem, I don't. You don't know at this point, this person, but until now, was probably love bombing. But some narcissistic people, that drive to become successful is so that they have all the people constantly praising them, constantly big upping them, fueling their ego, and working as their supply. So they do that. Drive for supply does help a lot of them to become these successful people. And that's how you end up with narcissistic bosses, narcissistic, I don't know how much you have a narcissistic employee because of the power struggle. Like if somebody was being narcissistic and you could fire them, you probably would. But if you're the boss, okay, so you may be dealing with that and you're like, how? Because that drive, and that drive gets them a lot of things sometimes, and it gets them a lot of followers, a lot of people that's partially why when you're going through this, the outside world thinks that they're a great person. And they may be great to other people because they they garner all this stuff with their charisma, with their charm, with their ability, their drive to do whatever it takes. And I mean, that's fun to watch unless you're the person getting trampled on. You're a part of the whatever it takes. Movie time, Coco. Y'all remember old dude? Dang, I can't remember his name, but that was his line. You do whatever it takes. And he killed his best friend for his songs. Narcissistic. The world loved that man. They gave him all kind of, on the Dias de los Muertos, they had all kind of things and cakes for him. And then they found out that he was a murderer. But whatever it takes, he thought he deserved, even though he could not write songs, he deserved to be loved by everyone, and everyone else needed to fall in line. Little boy Miguel's grandfather was the person who died because of this. And maybe if you're in a narcissistic relationship, you may feel like, you're losing your life behind this. And like I said, you can be a romantic partner, it can be a parent, a sibling, a boss, a friend. These people are out here, okay? These people are out here, and the more that we speak about it and say, hey, these are the characteristics, these are the traits, these are the tactics, the more that information is passed on, it can kind of lift the veil off of victims and be like, yo, this is what this is, and this isn't right. And the more people who come out, the less, so like in that Coco's case, they turned the camera on him while he was having one of his narcissistic rants, and all those people were able to see him like for real. And it was like, nope, there was millions of, I want to say people, skeleton people were there ready to sing his praises. They just came from his party, but they saw the real him, and they was like, get him up out of here. So I'm not saying shine the light on that specific person, but to shine the light on this specific disorder or this specific personality type, get them up out of here. And on every level, hold them to the fire, some accountability. It'll save a group of people. And if we can't do that, we can at least say, you are not alone. This is how you're going to get through this, and you're going to be better for it. And unfortunately, is it unfortunate? Child, once you go through this, you start learning about it. I could probably go work on a degree, but I'm not going to do that at this time. But for real, it's a trip, right? What number we on? 6? Number 6. Believe he or she is special and unique and can only be understood by or should associate with other special or high status people or institutions. So in my case, in some of the jargon is the mask slips. So it's like the narcissist is always wearing a mask. And that mask looks like you typically, because they're mirroring you. They like what you like. They go where you go. Maybe you're at work and they start to dress how you dress. They're very flattering, and they mirror you to see, this is how we do this thing call people in. Yeah. And so then you're like, oh, kindred spirits, you know? And so that while they have that mask on, they're love bombing you. You really feel like, you know, y'all are connected. They're copying, they're faking. But when the mask slips and you start to see who they really are, that's when, and if you really start to see who they are, that's what some of the terminology is called, when the mask slips on the narcissist. So in my case, the mask slipped when, after I found out our relationship needed to come to an end. Like I said, and we'll get to why that was. But once that mask slipped, it came off. And that's when he told me that he felt like he was special. He was almost Christ-like and God-like. And I could feel like he always felt like he was special throughout our relationship, and just felt like, you know, he needed to be number one. That self-doubt in you, there's doubt now in the relationship. You can't put your finger on it, and you can't ask for help. That's beauty, unlimited power. Yeah, I mean, the thing was always, we are the best, I am the best. And like everybody's a little narcissistic. That's what gives you your self-esteem. It's when it's overboard and that becomes harmful to others, is when it becomes like you might be a narcissist versus my little narcissistic. Like dealing with, if you're dealing with a narcissist, look into your life and like really zoom out and say, do they act like a toddler? Like a full-grown toddler? Like they throw tantrums, they think the world revolves around them, but they get upset. They don't hug their friend when they get hurt. They don't say sorry. They do not care. If you feel like this is a whole toddler, then you might be dealing with a person like this, okay? So that was my example on that one. Requires excessive admiration. Now, so I told y'all episode 1, Christianese. I don't know that the Chapmans are just Christians, but they have this wonderful book called The 5 Love Languages. They have them for kids, couples, singles, whatever. So in our case, my love language is quality time. This person's was words of affirmation. And I don't know if that is true or convenient for the situation, but under the guise of words of affirmation is where he would garner this excessive admiration and list of things he would want praise. And trying to meet him there, I had begun to change my language. Where I was before, it was like, if you're doing a good job, it's good. Don't nobody gotta talk about it. But if it's a little sketchy, maybe we should communicate on it so that it can be better. So like, for example, if you made up the bed needs to be made up. That, in my mind, that doesn't require a great job, thank you. But trying to, you know, make it work, change, you know, you grow. People like to be told thank you. Okay, so thank you. But you got the sheets from the wrong pile. You've made up the bed with dirty sheets. So, but you know, that's the dirty clothes pile. We probably discussed it at some point and you didn't listen. But I'm not saying that right now. What I'm saying is, hey, thanks, but that's the wrong sheets. I might have, you know, that's an example of just like, oh, well, now I can't do nothing right. You're not grateful. And it's like, okay, so the next time I would, just thank you. Thank you so much for making up the bed. And I just change it myself. If something like that happened, for example, or eventually I'll just make up the bed myself, because I didn't want that sadness or whatever, but it was always the thank you. And it doesn't matter if the action typically wouldn't require that much. It was necessary to keep I don't want to say the smile. The ego. But yeah, thank you, studio audience. But it was an ego thing to kind of keep the ego from, you know, being injured or hurt. And so trying to, how do you say it? Just accommodate. Thank you. Trying to accommodate that. And so but I also feel like to a certain extent have been trained to, yay, again, toddlers, you doing little things that I feel like, you know, should happen regardless. But thank you, great job, I appreciate. Or you know how like you'd be like, yay, because the kid helped you clean the dishes, but you got to go back and clean the dishes. It was that sort of thing. On number 7, envies others or believes they're envious of him, has arrogant behaviors or attitude. I was gonna say yeah, like y'all know, but yeah, for sure. And it was slight. It was like thought that he deserved what other people had, but it was like I said, undercover. Sort of, wait, it wasn't? I felt like it was undercover. Maybe that's, you know, rose-colored glasses. But it just felt like you deserved what other people had. It could be the simplest of stuff of like, oh, you had a nice meal. I should have some of that. You have a nice car. I should have a nice car. But you didn't go to to the car lot. You didn't apply for the loan. Why would you just have a nice car today because somebody else did? It's just silly. Now looking back on it, it's silly stuff. It has arrogant behaviors. And that arrogant behaviors and attitudes, the charger, okay? You got to be arrogant to not care about other people's stuff and think that you deserve their stuff, even if they explicitly ask you not to take their stuff. It take a different kind of arrogance, right? And so, like I said, the charger for me, it was really, and now looking back on it, it was like, I should have known, okay? It was because you didn't care. It didn't matter in the empathy of it. So that's the 9 characteristics of narcissistic types. Personality types. The more, and also the two big things about being diagnosed with narcissism. You have to it has to carry across all parts of your life. Like if you're narcissistic, or if the person you know is narcissistic, they're not just narcissistic with you. They're narcissistic at work. They're narcissistic in your group settings. They're narcissistic in their family. You may or may not notice it if you don't go to all those places with them. And a lot of time, victims of narcissistic abuse keep it quiet. So like if the person you're dealing with is a romantic partner, they're probably narcissistic, but like a sibling. That sibling may not come out to you, or more true is they probably told you that sibling was crazy and didn't like them. They were in trouble since they were children, and they're a really hard part of the family, so that you never reached out to them to say, hey, I feel some type of way. And that person will be like, let me tell you why. They're not going to do that. And then flip side, they probably told the sibling, well, my romantic partner doesn't like you, and that's why I don't come around you. They really rather not spend time over here. It's this technique called triangulation, where they try to control everybody. And I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to tell you something, so you two never speak. Or if you are in the same place, you both have this kind of tension about what I told you. And because I have this, not over you, but I've trauma bonded with you enough, you're going to believe me over you. I've implanted enough self-doubt, and you probably have a little low self-esteem now. You're not going to be confident enough to come to that person and be like, hey, so-and-so said this, that you said this, and that you're doing that. So that very rarely happens. So that person is never called out. And then God forbid it does happen and you do call them out, they have enough technique and enough time with you to flip it back on you. And that one, like I said, is called triangulation. Do not suffer in silence. Like I said, the more, vet the people you talk to though. I'm gonna give y'all one more terminology. Flying monkey. Sometimes a narcissist have people in their corner who enable them. They may not be aware that they're narcissists, but they have this sort of relationship where they'll come at you and be like, oh, you treated them so wrong. You did that. Why would you do that to them? You need to apologize to your mother. You hurt her feelings. You need to behave. You need to do your job correctly because you can get fired. That's the boss. You need to forgive the romantic partner. These people who it's like, y'all don't know what I'm dealing with. How y'all giving me advice? Or God forbid you do know what I'm dealing with and this is your advice. So vet the people that you're talking to. And once you found you a good set of people, don't suffer in silence. Say something, because the more that this information gets out, like I'm surprised that there are already people I know who are dealing with this same sort of thing, and I've known these people and they never said nothing and I never said nothing. And maybe like me, I honestly didn't know nothing until 4 months ago. And this has been at least a 6.5-year journey. And so don't suffer in silence. Talk, open your mouth, get help, write, keep a journal. If you can do nothing else, keep a journal. Write it, email yourself, open yourself a secret email, text it to a friend and delete it from your phone. Whatever you have to do. But to start to know that you are not alone. People be like this, okay? People will steal your charger and let your phone die. And there is my people in my corner will be like, you right, that was wrong, that was petty, that's narcissistic, and you deserve better. You deserve a love that will buy you a charger, that will buy you all the chargers, okay? So there are people, there's help for it. There's healing, there are therapies, and you are not alone. If you are a support person of a person who is already going through this, be their champion, be there to listen, do not judge. Trust that victims of narcissists are typically empathetic people who are codependent in some ways, so they're judging themselves. So it's your job to not add to it, but also to take some stuff off and let them know that it is not their fault, and that they are victims of the situation. And I know a lot of times the word victim can seem like, oh, not I am strong, I'm gonna make it through. But if you don't decide and accept the title of victim, narcissistic people love to be the victims. They love to woe is me. So you need to take that title, claim it, and heal. But please reach out, support, and tune in next time. All right. So I've been your host, Jay Jabri. This is I Waited. Was it worth it? Bye.